Are you looking for more information to help you when you go out to buy your first RV? Well, stay tuned. You know, when John and I went to purchase our first RV, we were like sponges. We were trying to soak up as much information as we could to help us make the right decision. You know, buying an RV is a big purchase, and there's a lot to think about. So in today's video, we're going to follow a young couple on their journey to buying their first RV. You know, in hopes that it will help you with maybe some questions that you have, or just to help make your buying process a little bit easier. Hi, I'm Holly with Let's Go Now Adventures, and thanks for joining us today. You know, our YouTube channel is about all things camping. Whether you tent camp or RV camp, our goal is to just help you have a great camping experience. So, we're off to the RV show. Come on along. Today we are at the RV Super Show, and we're here with Niki and Stuart and their cute little family. And they are first-time RV buyers, so we thought this would be a great place to showcase all the RVs that are out there. So as first-time RV buyers, guys, what are you hoping to accomplish today, or what are some of the questions that you want answered?
We are kind of new to the whole RV trailer world, so we're at the very beginner amateur level. My husband's researched a ton as far as all the, what would you say?
The manly things.
The manly things, the important details. I really don't know what I'm looking for, but we gave him the duty of being in charge of like the weight and the price and the gas, and I'm gonna look at, is it good for a family or layout? So we're just gonna see what we like.
Well, this is so fun. It'll be so fun to follow them on their adventure, in hopes that for some of you first-time RV buyers, we can maybe shed a little bit of light to all the questions that maybe we can get answered today. So come on, let's go on inside. So we have been at the RV show, 2 to 3 hours already. The girls are out and tired in the stroller, but we've been looking around, and what do you guys think? Are you kind of getting a feel for what's out there? I mean, you really Niki hadn't been through.
I had no idea what I was looking at or for. So I'm learning so much.
Do you feel overwhelmed with all the choices?
Yeah, I thought there'd be like 5 or 6 trailers. There's like hundreds of trailers here, but like the good side is we're learning that there's lots of options between like the range that we wanted, like 25 to 30 foot. I'm getting a lot of the specifications down for like capacities of the tanks and the waters and how much they hold and how much everything weighs, so I know what kind of vehicle I can pull it with. And we found out we love the bunk beds.
Yeah,
bunk bed option.
I'm surprised how easy it was to figure out what we like in a trailer, just going in a few. I really like the bunk beds. That way the beds are already made. You don't have to remake them every single night and morning. And then having a bathroom right off the back door to like quickly use the restroom or wash hands without walking through the whole trailer.
After you walk in 5 or 6, you start realizing really quick what you like and what you don't
You can
like.
kind of get a feel. So actually coming to the show where you have so many options in one place was really a good thing.
It's so convenient.
You can actually narrow it down, and then now you can start really making some decisions.
Yeah, makes it a lot easier.
Okay, we have just spent all day long now at the RV Expo. I'm tired. How are you guys feeling?
We're a little overwhelmed. It's a lot of information to take in, and all the trailers and RVs start looking the same. So we're really grateful. We took a lot of pictures, got a lot of pamphlets, so we can go back and like re-look at floor plans and pricing and talk about it in like a better headspace later.
Yeah. I think the key was to not let them talk us into buying a trailer here today. They claim all these great prices. I still think you can get those prices next week when you're down at their lot. You're the only guy buying it.
I agree when it's like less stress and less pressure, but it still is a great opportunity to be able to come and see so many different, especially when you're new.
You saw 100 trailers in 5 hours.
You know,
it was really informative.
Yeah, informative, exciting, a little bit overwhelming.
A little bit, yeah.
But
a good thing.
We'll go get some ice cream.
That'll work, and we'll follow their journey and see where this takes them. So we're back with Niki and Stuart, and they have just purchased their first RV. So going back 8 months, we were at the RV show, and you guys, we just wanted to let our viewers know, kind of walk us through the RV buying process. You know, was it crazy? Was it, did you know exactly what you wanted? Tell us about that process.
Well, it's sure been crazy over the last 8 months. There's been a lot of variables to consider, a lot of obstacles, some new things that came up, but the one thing that didn't change is our excitement to get into the trailer world.
Woo-woo! So let's start out with the question first is, was the RV show a good place to start? I know that when we left that day, you, especially Niki, was kind of a little bit overwhelmed. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, absolutely. It was a fantastic place to start. The best advice I would give anyone is just to walk through a whole bunch of trailers, because we walked into it not knowing anything about trailers. We didn't know anything about what we wanted, what features we were looking for, and just the ability to walk through so many trailers and learn so much was just invaluable. So it was a great thing.
So even though a little bit overwhelmed, that would be a great place to start.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Yeah, great place to start. I would say don't buy, especially if it's your first time there, because they're all new. Take some time to think about what you want, because you go in these huge RVs that are so much fun, and it's awesome to walk through a 40-foot RV, but a 40-foot RV is really hard to park. And that's something that you don't think of until later. So great place to start, great place to check out what you want to see and what you like, and get to know some of the dealers and stuff like that, but don't buy.
Okay.
Just
good
gather
advice.
info.
Well, kind of take us back. So it's been 8 months since the RV show. Tell us how your opinions kind of varied. Were you vacillating between actually getting one or not getting one, or the size or what you wanted? Tell us about how your actual thoughts of what you wanted kind of worked out over the past few months.
Great question. So originally we left the RV show and we were really, fascinated by one particular RV that I think was about 32 foot in length, and it was new, but it had a very unique design, and we were like captivated by the uniqueness, and we just thought it was perfect for family life, perfect for kids, and we could not get past that.
Yeah.
So for months we were just thinking about this specific RV and whether we should find that specific RV new or used. It was hard for us to get off that specific RV. We eventually came around to realize, we talked to a couple other people and realized we should go as small as we can with still being very comfortable. And that really kind of stuck in our heads. So we started looking a little smaller, closer to the 24 to 28 foot range. And it really took us visiting an RV in person and walking through a 24 foot trailer to realize this is plenty of space if it's the right layout.
And we walked through, I think, 3 different 24 footers, and 2 of them seemed cramped. And I happened to jump on a website, Paris RV, and they had a used Palomino 24 footer, and I was like, it's got the dinette and the bunk house, so let's go take a look at it. So we went down there, and once we walked in that one, it felt very open. It's got the one slide and a huge oversized dinette. It's the biggest I've seen, and it was exactly what we wanted, 24 feet. It worked great.
I think that is important, to keep your mind open. You could be in a 28-foot RV that seemed really cramped, and yet, you have found a 24-foot that is very spacious. So it's all kind of about the layout, and yet you don't know those until you've gone in many RVs, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So kind of walk us through some of the obstacles that you ran into, over the past 8 months while you were looking.
Truck.
The big one for me was the truck. So I just decided that to find a diesel truck. I didn't want to have to worry about if we're going to get a little one or a big one, or in 5 years if we're going to upgrade to a toy hauler. I didn't want to constantly be switching out the truck. So I finally found a diesel F-250 that could pull whatever we needed.
Good.
And then from there it was kind of like, within a week or two of buying the truck, we bought the trailer.
So you actually got your truck first.
We got the truck first.
Was that kind of a plan thing to get the truck and then in hopes that it would pull it, or did you just go bigger so you would know it could pull whatever you decided?
I think we just went bigger. I wanted to be able to pull, if we decided to buy a toy hauler in 5 years, I didn't want to have to upgrade the truck
That's
again.
good.
So I just figured I'll just get a truck that could pull whatever we wanted to buy, whether it be small or huge, and then we'll find the right trailer that fit us.
Yeah. Any other obstacles in this process?
Well, in this crazy year of 2020 and COVID, there's a global pandemic going on, and ironically, it's kind of an interesting time to jump into the RV world because everyone else is doing the same thing. So the supply and demand is really off right now. So used trailers and new trailers are just flying off the shelves like hotcakes, even on for sale by owner websites as well as dealerships. So the tricky thing is there's a little bit less negotiations.
Yeah.
So you really have to like the RV at that price, and you really have to find what you're looking for and be ready to pull the trigger quickly. So that was interesting.
That was intimidating too. We were trying to be kind of like financially responsible, and you can finance a trailer for 10, 12, 15 years, so the monthly payment can get pretty low, but at the same time it's like, should we really buy a $40,000 trailer? It just didn't seem like the smart thing to do. So we probably waited a little longer than we both wanted to, but then once we bought the truck, we decided, let's get into it and see what we can find.
Yeah.
So
I think that's good advice for anybody. I think anytime you're in a hurry, you would tend to maybe not know all your options, and where you took 8 months, whether that seems like a long time for some people or not very long, you guys had really done all your research.
Yeah.
So when you were ready to pull the trigger, you really knew what you wanted.
Absolutely.
So Niki, tell me about some of the features as you were looking at all these that you thought was really, really important. You've got kids, so what did you think? Oh, I need that, I need that.
Conveniences with kids and family life were at the highest priority for us. The first feature we were looking for were bunk beds.
Yeah.
We have two little toddlers, so we were thinking the bunk beds would be ideal because they're kind of enclosed on 3/4 of the sides, so it almost acted like a crib, so the toddlers couldn't roll out of the bed. They had a safe space. We really liked that idea. Also, they could bring their toys up and have it be like a toy play area.
Yeah,
so
great.
bunk beds were a must. And then the second biggest thing was a dinette, a U-shaped dinette. We found a lot of trailers without the U-shaped. They were just very small. You didn't have enough elbow room. There was no way you would be able to fit a family around the table. So U-shape was super important for us.
and the pantry too.
And the pantry,
After we walked through so many, we decided.
Yeah, our first home didn't have a pantry, and that was interesting. So we knew
That's
getting
what
a
you
trailer,
wanted.
you have to have a place to fit your food that's easily accessible. I didn't want to be digging underneath the dinette cushions for food every time we needed a snack. So I think bunks, U-shaped dinette, and pantry were the three biggest things.
Oh, that's excellent. And just something with John and I having an RV, sometimes you don't know exactly what is going to be important to you. And it's not until you actually get your RV and you've used it a few times, you're like, oh, dang, we really needed this. But I really think it's neat how you have gotten into one that has the most important things that you wanted, and from here you can kind of evaluate what really is important, and then maybe in a couple years upgrade.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we had talked to a lot of people. With you guys, we talked to a lot about my brother-in-law. He's got a toy hauler, so I picked his brain. My parents, we grew up with them, so and a lot of guys that I work with too. One of the guys that I work with told me, find the smallest trailer you can find and go with that. And come to think of it, that was great news, because getting into these little spots, you have a lot more availability if you're 30 feet or less.
Right, yeah.
So, it's, you don't realize that until you start looking at a lot of the campgrounds. But we asked a lot of people, like, what are some smart things and good things, and so.
Okay, so Niki, what advice would you give somebody that was just starting out in the RV buying process?
So one thing that was really helpful for me was to visualize how my family was going to use this trailer.
Good.
How are we going to wake up? What are we going to do first? Where are we going to get dressed? Where are we going to make breakfast? Where are we going to eat? You know, at 8 o'clock, since we have little kids, when it's too cold and we go inside, what are we going to do? Are we going to watch shows? Are we going to relax? So it was really helpful to visualize how we would use it and kind of play that in your mind. Another big thing was to almost make a camping list of everything you would pack and then ask yourself, where am I going to put the plates? Where am I going to put the cups? Where am I going to put the kids' clothes? And where am I going to put the towels? Because sometimes with RVs there's a lot more storage than you think, and other trailers it's a lot more limited than you think.
Exactly.
So you have to make sure you have enough space for your stuff.
Wow, that is just fantastic advice. And if I can tell you one thing I know about Niki is that she is a planner, and so it's to take some of her advice and actually go through those steps. You know, your family's gonna all be sitting at the dinette table when it's raining. How important to have a big dinette, at least for your family.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah, so great. Okay, so Stuart, what were some of the features that were important to you? They're obviously going to be different than what was important to Niki. So what about for you?
Tongue jack, I guess. We have an automatic one on this one, and I didn't realize how
Valuable.
awesome that is, because when you've got stabilizers on, you've got to raise it up with the truck on, take off the stabilizers, raise it back down, then unhook it from the truck, then raise it back up, pull the truck out, then drop it back down to level it. So you're going up and down 3 times, you know, and then when you're loading it back up, you got to do the same thing, you know, 3 times. So that's a lot of cranking.
Yeah,
you know.
if I can just interject, because John and I did that for a whole year, and it's hard.
It
so
is
you
hard.
don't realize that is a huge thing to have that be
Yeah.
electric. So
Yeah. The 2 things that I have loved since then are the rolling block levels.
okay.
Those are awesome.
So
'cause it's-
definitely a good purchase for somebody just starting out.
Yeah, the rolling blocks.
And we'll leave the link for those down in the description below if you'd like to check those out, because
Yeah,
I
they're
have to
awesome.
agree those are a lifesaver.
And then the generator too, with little kids and being able to turn on a show
While
and
they
have
fall
them fall
asleep.
asleep. That's been a lifesaver for us. I mean, maybe we're lazy parents, but that's been awesome to be able to do.
I don't think lazy. So just going back, one thing I thought that was really neat is that you guys actually got a 2020, but it was used. I mean,
Yeah.
what a bonus to
Yeah.
to get a trailer that was a 2020 in 2020, but have it be used. You missed out on all the depreciation. Somebody else took that hit,
Right.
and yet you're in something that's brand new and gorgeous.
Yeah.
When I called the guy, I said, "Do you still have this on your lot?" He said, "Yeah, it's been on the lot for 2 days." I said, "Well, what's wrong with it if it's been there for 2 days? You
Yeah.
know, how
Yeah.
it hasn't gone?" And he said, "It's in the back of our lot behind everything else. Nobody's seen it yet." So we ran down there, and it was in the back of the lot
Yeah.
behind. We had to walk through, 20 rows of trailers to get to it. And then when we saw it, it was like, "Well, this is great. What's wrong with it?" And they said that it had been traded in.
Oh, traded in to
So
go up.
yeah,
Yeah.
Toy
and
hauler.
Yeah.
they wanted a toy hauler, so they left the hitch with the equalizer, which is like $1,000.
Yeah.
So that's another good thing you get with used. A lot of times you get little perks. The whole trailer had been outfitted for a skirt, so if you were like camping cold weather, it's skirted all the way around.
There were a
They
lot
said
of
that's
perks.
like $1,000 upgrade.
So lots of bonuses.
Yeah, lots
Yeah.
of bonuses that we didn't have to pay for. We didn't have to, like you said, take that
And
initial
we
fee.
weren't initially looking for a 2020 or something as new as a 2020. We would have been fine older, but with the supply and the demand this season with COVID, it was amazing how older trailers were the same price as newer trailers.
Isn't that
really.
crazy? Yeah.
We were looking at a 30-footer that was 8 years old, and it was more expensive than the 2020.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So
This
Pricing
has
was
been
crazy.
definitely a crazy year. Lots, a huge increase of campers out there, but we're so excited to have
Yeah.
lots more campers and RVers out there. So going on, can you tell us, Stuart, what would be some advice that you would give somebody just going through the RV buying process? Just maybe a top tip of somebody just starting out.
just take your time. If it's your first RV, buy used, because if you get into it and you go up 2 or 3 times and you realize that RVing's not for you, and
Right.
you'd rather do the VRBO thing or the little staycation house things, there's a lot to be said for that too. It's easy. You don't have to tow something up. I've done a lot of projects, so I've towed a lot of trailers, but I've never towed anything longer than 16 feet. And when you get longer than that, it's a whole different ballgame, especially with your family in there.
Yeah, a little bit of
You know?
stress
So
involved.
the first time we came up to UNS, I was white knuckled the whole way. We finally parked and my hands were numb because I'd been gripping the steering so
I
hard.
believe it. I believe
So
it.
you know that's one thing to think of too. And then once you buy the RV, you've got to get the pots and pans and plates and the equalizer hitch and the sewer clean out pipes. And so you'll be, that can jump up $1,000
Run you a little
to
bit of money.
$3,000 pretty
I think that
quick.
is important to anticipate.
Yeah.
When you buy that RV, you're not just driving it off the lot. You still then have to usually buy all those additional things. So it's so important to keep in mind that, okay, we still are going to put in at least another $1,000
Yeah.
just to get it outfitted. And
Yeah.
yours was kind of already outfitted, but just those little tiny things, they really do add up, don't they?
Yeah, the nice thing with our insurance though, the insurance is only like an extra $100 to $200 a year.
Oh, that's
So the insurance, so that's nice and that's not much of an issue. But yeah, it's been, I don't know. Luckily, we had a lot of people that we could pick their brains from, so I
Yeah.
think we didn't make a lot of those initial mistakes that a lot of people would. That hopefully we can help prevent.
So we are so excited for you guys. It's been fun to follow you through this RV buying journey. So tell us what you're excited about.
Oh, we are just so thrilled with our purchase. This RV is going to be perfect for our family. It's an open floor plan, very kid friendly. It's easy to haul up the mountain, so we're just so happy. We're eager to get out and do some more camping adventures.
Woo, woo, woo. Well, I think you have given us just some amazing advice, and I hope that we've helped you out there. Thank you so much. It's been so fun kind of following you on this journey. And the excitement, and it's like, are we going to do this? Are we not going to do this? It's just been fun, and even more fun to actually be up here on your first RV trip. So this is the RV that Niki and Stuart ended up with, and can I just tell you, they are tickled pink. It was so fun to watch them on this journey. So hey, if you got some value out of this video, give me a big thumbs up. We would also love to have you subscribe to our channel. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you on the next adventure. Bye-bye.